our next round of guests joining us here on the stage, and we'll ask Kevin not to fall asleep. I know that's a really comfy little couch.
Yeah, this is pretty good here.
Yeah, after a nice lunch. Well, Missouri is in the middle of it all. I think it's the RCGA motto, isn't it? Perfectly centered. St. Louis is perfectly centered. We are in the middle of it all, and in many ways that helps us, and in many ways that sort of stresses our infrastructure, because being in the middle of the country has given Missouri a great opportunity to become a leader in national and international trade. But of course it really is dependent on the strength of our transportation infrastructure, which of course is getting more and more expensive to upkeep. For more on the state of Missouri's infrastructure, I would like to introduce Senator Bill McKenna of the Missouri Transportation Alliance and Kevin Keith with the Missouri Department of Transportation. Kevin, we'll start with you. First of all, I want to say congratulations on the Highway 40 project, 64, as it's going, because all of the gloom and doom that people were predicting so far has not happened. That project has gone very well. But here we are with this great road that's on schedule and under budget, but as we see sales taxes, auto sales taxes, because people aren't buying cars, and gas taxes going down, MoDOT faces a huge challenge in the future of how do we keep repairing roads, and can we build truck lanes, and can we repair 70 across Missouri when the pool of money is simply not there?
It's a big problem, and it's not a MoDOT issue. It's a Missouri and, quite frankly, a national issue. You heard our previous speakers talk about the issue of infrastructure. Electricity and roads have something in common. You don't worry about electricity until you go flip the switch and it'll come on. You don't worry about your road until you're actually stuck in traffic and you go on, what's going on here? And the reality is the state of transportation today in Missouri is actually very good. The roads are better. Almost 80% of our major roads in good condition. We've reduced fatalities on Missouri's roadways 21% over 06 and 07 combined. They're down another 8% in 08. We're doing some major projects, 40, which thank you very much for the compliment. I'll pass it on to our team. They don't let me touch it, but we have some great people who are doing that. You know, that's our first design build job we've ever done in MoDOT's history, the largest project we ever put under contract at one time, and it's going phenomenally well. So there's a lot of good things going on in transportation in Missouri. The problem is what's coming. And when you have that kind of a success, it's kind of hard for folks to say there's a problem coming. And that problem is how are we going to invest? And to me, it's not funding, it's invest in infrastructure in Missouri and, quite frankly, the United States. We've been underinvesting in that for a long time. And I say invest, we just did an analysis of our Amendment 3 resources the voters passed in 2004. And what we've done with those resources in Missouri is returning 5 to 1 on the economy of our state. So what do we do about that? Right now, in this fiscal year, our receipts for state resources are down 5% in Missouri. That's gas tax and automobile sales. If you take that out for a full year, we're going to be about $60 million. If you take that out for the full 5-year we program work, that's $360 million. But it's not just a state issue, it's also a national issue, because nationally the money we get for our roads and bridges is completely funded by gas tax. And it was so bad last year, it's a good thing. It helps us with our energy independence. Folks are driving less, but every dollar we get for our roads and bridges comes from gas tax. There had to be almost an emergency act in Congress done last year to put an $8 billion infusion in the Highway Trust Fund to keep it solvent. And so that's the issue we have on the future of transportation, is how do we fund it? And it's probably really critical for Missouri, because you mentioned we stand in a great place. We're in the middle of the country. You know, we're 10 hours from half the United States population. We've got the 2nd and 3rd largest rail hubs in the United States. We have the Mississippi River, comes right here to St. Louis. We should have been in a position to capitalize on our location and our assets and make transportation, logistics, moving freight one of those industries we can build upon in Missouri, but it's going to take some investment to do so.
I did want to ask Senator McKenna, with all the different roles that you've served in the legislature and on different transportation committees and working on the Mississippi River Bridge, what would you say right now is or should be Governor-elect Nixon's priority or the legislature's priority to sort of make sure or address as far as transportation concerns in Missouri? Is there a number one or a number two issue?
Well, I think the function I'm serving in right now, and the reason I think I'm on the panel, is the Missouri Transportation Alliance. And I believe their function is to create the vision that Kevin's talking about. You know, when I first went in the legislature in the early 80s, the legislature could pass a gas tax or could pass a sales tax or could pass any tax. That's no longer the case. In '92, the legislature did a 6-cent gas tax, which was great at the time because it kept us from losing any federal money. We were able to match everything that was available. But right after that, the citizens changed the Constitution that says the legislature can't adopt taxes over a certain level, and that level is fairly low. It's about $75 to $80 million a year now. That's a lot of money, but when you're talking about roads, that's not much money. So you can have a vision, but today that vision has to come from the people up, because they're the ones. If you need more revenue, it has to go to a vote of the people. So the efforts that we're trying to put forth with the Alliance it's a citizen group, nonpartisan, not funded by the MoDOT or anything, and we're over the next 6 or 7 months, we're going to have meetings throughout the state. Hopefully everyone here will be invited, and we're going to try to create a vision. What is going to move people in this state? What are they looking for in their region that will move them to vote for more revenue so that we can invest more? Just like Kevin says, it pays back 5 to 1. So you know, you put $1 in, you're going to get 5 back. But we want to make sure what we're putting $1 in, what that vision looks like, people will support. So it's going to take a while to do that, and it may be at the end their needs are way bigger than their eyes are bigger, their eyes are bigger than their stomach. But we're going to make that attempt and see if we could bring something forward. You know, we may go, obviously we need the support of the legislators. They're all going to be invited, both federal, state, and local, when we have these meetings. And at the end, when we put together some kind of package, we want to find out what that package is, what the people want, before we start talking about dollars, because we don't know, how big the package or small the package is going to be. And then we'll probably go to the legislature and the governor at that time and look for some support. So it's not easy.